Welcome to Pass the Turn. This is another Magic the Gathering Monday session, and today we're doing a little bit of a deck tech. We haven't done one of these before, so I just thought it would be a good time to maybe introduce these format videos onto the channel. And today we'll look at, in my opinion, my most powerful commander deck. I've got several. I've got Scorpion God, Damia, Sage of Stone, Elenda, the Dusk Rose, Vorel of the Hulklade, Arig's Nexus, the Slumbering Isle, and just another fun one, Thriss, Nantuko Primus. All of those decks are still in the process of being made, whereas I think this one, Demonlord Belzenlok, is very much completed. It does falter sometimes, because it's so high converted mana cost, but most of the time it performs really, really well. But there are times when the converted mana cost can get the better of it, but we'll see how it goes. So first of all, let's just start with the commander himself. Demonlord Belzenlok is a 6/6 flying trample legendary elder demon, and when he enters the battlefield, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card, then put that card into your hand. If the card's converted mana cost is 4 or greater, repeat this process, which most of the time it will be. So he ends up doing a lot of damage to you, but you draw loads and loads of different things that can help you win the game ultimately. So this deck is all about paying life and drawing as many cards as possible. And you will see some of the horrible things that will be in this deck that you benefit from having all those options in your hand to fulfill those cards' effects and what have you. So Demonlord Belzenlok is the commander. So let's start with the mana base of the deck. So this is mono black, so obviously we've got swamps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we've got 30 swamps in there. And then we've got some non-basics. So we've got a Cabal Stronghold. All of these images I'll just float somewhere around the screen. Cabal Stronghold is awesome. It's basically like a discount Cabal Coffers, almost. We've got Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. So that makes all of my lands swamps, in addition to their other types, which is really, really good. We've got a Reliquary Tower, which is a key piece of the deck because it allows me to have no maximum hand size. At any point in this game, when I play with this deck, I want to have something that gives me no maximum hand size, so that's very, very, very valuable in this deck. Ancient Tomb just taps to add 2 colourless mana, so it's awesome ramp and deals 2 damage, so it's fitting with the theme, doing damage to yourself. We've got a Phyrexia's Core, which adds 1 colourless mana, and also, if you pay 1 and tap it and sacrifice an artifact, you gain 1 life. Now this synergizes with another card in the deck, which you'll get to later. Rogue's Passage, I think it's a staple in Commander really, just allows your commander to go in the back door and deal commander damage, and other big threats can just sneak through this door and deal damage, unblockable damage to your opponents. A Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, going to have massive converted mana costs, mono black in this deck, so Shrikthos. Nykthos will tap for a lot of mana. And then a Volrath's Stronghold. So this taps for 1 colourless mana, and it can tap, if you tap it and pay 1 black and 1 colourless, you can return target card, or creature card should I say, to the top of your library. So any creature cards in your graveyard, you can recur those and get additional value from. So that's also really, really good. So that's the mana base of the deck. 38 lands, I believe, in there. This is a commander deck as well, if I haven't mentioned so already. So that's the land mana base. Now, I'm just going to go through all of the cards in this deck in no particular order. So the first one that's on top is Vraska's Contempt. Just a straight up exile target creature or planeswalker and gain 2 life. So a really, really nice removal spell. Gains you a little bit of life from all the life that you're paying, so a little bit of an offset there. It costs 4 to play, and it can get rid of creatures and planeswalkers. And there's some horrible planeswalkers out there, so a good inclusion. Temporal Extortion. Black's I think it's Black's only card that allows you to take an extra turn. So you pay 4 black mana, And then when you play it, any player around the table, including yourself, can pay half of their life total to counter this card as shown on the text. But if they don't, you take an extra turn. So that's really, really good and can help me win the game when I've got other cards out, which will allow me to win the game, which we'll get to later. Wretched Confluence is a really, really good utility card. It's one of those cards that say choose 3. You can choose the same mode more than once. And on the card itself, it says target player draws a card and loses 1 life. So you can use that to target yourself with, to draw more cards, draw more answers, but in effect lose more life. You can use that to drain your opponents if they're low on life. You can force them to draw cards and lose life. You've got the second ability, which means target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. So you can use that as a mini board wipe against a load of weaklings, or you can -6/-6 something if you use it 3 times. -2/-2 or minuses in general. Get around the indestructible clause as well, so you can kill an indestructible creature if you finish him off with minus damage, which is good, and it's instant as well, which is really, really nice. And the third mode is return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can do any one of those things once, twice, or 3 times, or you can mix and match them. So they're really, really good, really, really good utility card, which has a lot of good effects. Then we have Sword of the Animist. A nice little equipment and a way of ramping you. So it costs 2 to bring in. Equipped creature gets a little buff, +1/+1, but whenever that equipped creature attacks, I get to pull a basic swamp and put it onto the battlefield tapped. So it's a good way of thinning the deck, as well as grabbing those lands that I might not be able to get because black doesn't ramp very well. There are a couple of ramps in here, but this is a good one to thin out the deck and just, get attacking, basically. Scour from Existence is a colourless option, costs 7 to play, and it's just a straight up exile target permanent. So black doesn't really have many answers for permanent removal, so I just thought I'd put that in there just as something that I can tutor if there's a really, really bad threat on the table, like an enchantment or an artifact or something that black can't normally deal with. This is the answer for that, as well as something else later. Life's Finale, a board wipe. It says destroy all creatures, then search target opponent's library for up to 3 creature cards and put them into his or her graveyard. So in a commander game, you could destroy all creatures and then you could target someone else and remove 3 cards from their deck and put them into the grave, which is great if you know who you're playing against. You can just go and find those threats and ditch them in the graveyard. Hopefully they don't have an answer to bring them back from the grave, that could screw you over. But yeah, board wipe with additional value. Life's Finale. Sizan, the Perverter of Truth. This is a 6/5 demon spirit. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player loses 2 life and draws 2 cards. So again, fits within the theme where you're drawing 2 cards and losing 2 life. But again, this guy is sometimes encouraged to stay alive because he's drawing other people cards as well. So Sizan, a good political tool, and he's a 6/5 demon as well. A lot of demons appear in this deck. And again, that's one of the win cons as well, is a lot of demons being out at any one time. If you can guess the card right now in the comments, show me what you think that win con's going to be based on demons. The only planeswalker in the deck is Obnixilis Reignited. So he comes in with 5 loyalty counters. His +1 is draw a card and lose 1 life. Fits with the theme. He can destroy target creature with a -3. And his -8 is target opponent gets an emblem with whenever you draw a card, they lose 2 life. So again, that could really, really mess someone over because your deck is drawing, is drawing so many cards that each time they do so, whenever a player draws a card, so even in a massive multiplayer game, that is a ticking time bomb, that emblem, if you can get to it. Painful Lesson, so it's just a 1 swamp and 2 others. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. So you can use this to drain your opponents, you can use this to drain yourself and gain more answers. Just a nice little draw spell. Kagimaro, First to Suffer. Again, another demon spirit from the Kamigawa set. And this guy is ridiculous in this deck, and he can be a really, really powerful threat because his power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. And that is just, he just gets ridiculous. I played sample games of this and he's been a massive threat every single time. And also he has a board wipe as well as a special ability. It says 1 swamp and sacrifice. All creatures get -X/-X until end of turn. where X is the number of cards in your hand. So again, he is a really, really beefy creature if you've got a lot of cards in your hand, and he is also a board wipe, which Indestructible can't deal with either. So again, really, really good card. Treasure Map. Now, this is a really, really good card because it allows me to scry. So it costs 2 to bring in, so it's normally quite an early drop. And then you can pay 1 and tap it to scry 1. And then you put a counter on it. As long as this has 3 counters on it, that's when you remove them. You put 3 treasures into play, and then you transform it into Treasure Cove, which gives you a land, a colourless mana, and you can sacrifice an artifact or treasure, to draw a card. So again, fits in with the theme quite well, and it allows me to scry early on in the game, so I can just pick out and look for the cards that I need early game. So very, very good. Razaketh's Right is a tutor, but it also has a cycling ability as well. So again, it not only allows me to try and find what I need at a key point in the game, but also if I don't need it or I just need that extra draw for whatever reason, it can be cycled off. So again, a really, really good tutor, Razaketh's Right. No black deck would be complete without a Murder, so it's just a straight up destroy target creature for 3 mana. Murder, very, very effective against all creatures of all colours. Mastermind's Acquisition. This is again another tutor card, costs 4 mana, and it says choose 1. So this is really interesting. So it allows you to search your library for a card and put it into your hand, or search a card from your collection. Choose a card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. So if you need something that's not on your deck, you can go and grab it for that particular situation. So again, interesting tutor. Ruinous Path. Again, another removal spell, but it destroys target creature or planeswalker. There's a lot of horrible planeswalkers out there, so again, this is very, very good. And it also has an awaken ability. So if you have mana spare towards the later turns of the game, you can awaken one of your lands and just have another creature there ready at the later stage of the game. So again, utility, nice. Sign in Blood, just 2 black mana for target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Again, fitting with the theme of drawing as many cards as possible. Sign in Blood is a nice 2-drop. Venser's Journal. This is ridiculous in this deck. If you've got loads and loads of cards in your hand, you're gaining life every single turn, and the fact that you're paying more and more life to draw more cards, this card will keep getting you that life back. So it's really, really, really good. Also has no maximum, you have no maximum hand size attached to it as well. So it is a very, very good card in this deck. Very, very good. Dark Ritual. Simply because we don't have much ramp in this deck. We do have a little bit of it, but again, it's nice to see that in your hand because you know that this deck's going to take a little bit of a while to get running, but with certain combinations you can get that engine running really, really quickly with a Dark Ritual, and again, it can save me. It has saved me on multiple occasions, so Dark Ritual is crucial. Expedition Map. This is crucial in the sense that it's a 1-drop, and then you can pay it off, pay 2 and tap it next turn and sacrifice it to go grab that Reliquary Tower or Ancient Tomb or Urborg or whatever land you need to help you work with what you've got. But I normally use it to go grab, if I haven't drew a no maximum hand size type card already, I would normally use this to go and grab my Reliquary Tower because that opens up, as soon as you have no maximum hand size, that opens up the deck for ridiculous things. So Expedition Map is great for that land grab because black doesn't have any land grab at all. It doesn't have the Kadama's Reaches, doesn't have the Nature's Laws or the Sylvan Scrying. It doesn't have any of that, so Expedition Map needs to be in there. Demon of Dark Schemes. He's a 5/5 flying demon. When he comes into play, all other creatures get -2/-2. So it's a little mini board wipe for weaklings or tokens. So he destroys everything when he comes in, or weakens everything when he comes in. Whenever another creature dies, he gets an energy counter, or you get an energy counter. And then if you pay a 2 colourless, a swamp, and then 4 energy counters, you can put target creature card onto the battlefield under your control. So it's nice. As creatures die off, you get more energy counters. You can use the energy counters to bring back those creatures from the grave. So again, nice utilitarian card there, and you can go steal other things from other people's graveyards, which I think is awesome. Unstable Obelisk, a nice little mana rock, costs 3 to bring in, and it adds taps to add 1 mana, colourless mana to your mana pool, and late game you can sack it off, pay 7, and destroy target permanent. So again, another answer to black's non-enchantment or artifact removal is destroy permanent. So again, Unstable Obelisk is great in the monocolour black deck. Decree of Pain, another board wipe. Destroy all creatures. They cannot be regenerated. And then draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. So again, this is another really good card for board wipes and then drawing cards off the back of it. And it also has a cycling ability. So if you want to use the cycling ability, you can. And even if you do, if you cycle it, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. So again, it's really good. It not only draws you a card off the cycling, but it still weakens everything on the board as well. So again, another really good card. Promise of Power. This is really good, especially late game when you've got loads of cards in your hand and you've got loads of mana to spare. You can entwine both of these abilities, but it says choose one. You can either draw 5 cards and lose 5 life, or you can put an XX black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the number of cards in your hand as the token enters the battlefield. So if you entwine both of these, you're going to get a ridiculously massive flying demon onto the battlefield. It's insane. Really good late game, or early game you can just draw loads of answers to whatever it is you're facing. Spellbook, awesome card, costs 0. So if you've got it in your starting hand, you play it without even using any mana, and for the rest of the game you have no maximum hand size. So again, an awesome drop, an awesome card to see in your starting hand. Spellbook. Thought Vessel, 2 colourless mana for a you have no maximum hand size and tap to add 1 colourless mana. So again, really thematic in the deck. You need that no maximum hand size clause to be doing things with this deck. And this not only does that, but it adds adds mana to your mana pool as well. So again, Thought Vessel, crucial. More spot removal, Oblivion Strike. This is devoid of colour, so it doesn't class as a black spell. And it just says exile target creature. So just remove that creature from the game. Non-existence. Fades into existence. Oblivion Strike. Very good. Good for getting around those indestructible creatures or what have you. Ambition's Cost. Basically like Harrowing Journey and what have you. This is a not tap. You draw 3 cards and lose 3 life for 4 mana. So again, just drawing you into answers, drawing you into lands, drawing you into ramp. Another just really great card. Just drawing cards. Awesome. What commander deck is without this, really? Sol Ring. Costs 1, adds 2. You know this already. If you're a commander player, you know this goes in. Mutilate. Another board wipe that gets round indestructible. So this is basically all creatures get -1/-1 for each swamp I control. So if I've got Urborg out, or just in general, I'm going to have loads of swamps out because it's mono black, this can destroy everything with no chance of regeneration or indestructible, doesn't matter. Mutilate, great card. Urza's Incubator. This is a staple in most of my decks actually because I play a lot of tribal, and this is a pseudo Sol Ring really. Well, it's not because it costs 3. So Aaron, what are you talking about, mate? But there, anyway, when this comes into play, you choose a creature type. So in this deck, I would choose demons, and then demons for the rest of the game, as long as it's out, cost 2 less, which is great because they have a very high converted mana cost. So this is a really good card in any tribal deck, really, if you've got high CMC creatures. So Urza's Incubator. Spine of Ishtar. This is what works with Phyrexia's Core. So Spine of Ishtar, when it comes into play, destroy target permanent. So black, again, doesn't have many enchantment removal or stuff like that, artifacts. This can destroy anything you want. With Phyrexia's Core, you can tap Phyrexia's Core and pay 1 and sacrifice this, and when this is put into a graveyard, return it to your hand. So it's a recurring cycle of destroy target permanent. So again, it's really good with Phyrexia's Core. So a great combo there. You can put Phyrexia's Core and Spine of Ishtar in any colour deck and it will be constantly recurable. So it's really good. Really good card. Highly recommend it. Diabolic Revelation. So this is a tutor spell, but it allows you to tutor for as many cards as you like, as long as you've got the mana to pay for it. So the standard cost is 2 black and 3 others, and then X. So you have to pay 2 black and 3 others before you get the X. Then you pay as much mana as you want, and then search the library for up to X cards, and put those cards into your hand, then shuffle your library. So again, this, if you're searching for that one thing that can help, plus that other thing, you can use this to go and fetch all of those answers at the right time. So again, Diabolic Revelation, great card for getting those answers. Pit Spawn. Now, the Oracle text, if you look on MTG, the official MTG site, and type in Pit Spawn, this does class as a demon. So because it's such an old card, it says Summon Beast, Summon the Beast, but actually it's a demon, so it does class as a demon officially, which is great. This is a ridiculous card. It really is. It really is good. So it costs 4 colourless and 3 swamps. It's a 6/4 first strike, which has a 2 swamp upkeep cost. So you have to pay 2 swamps at the start of your upkeep to keep this guy around. But if he damages any creature, exile that creature. And he's got first strike. So that's even more deadly than Death Touch, because even if someone blocks him, he's just going to remove them from the game. Ridiculous card. A massive threat against anything that's attacking you, basically. Torment of Hellfire. This is a game winner. If you've got loads and loads of mana, which normally this deck does have, funnily enough, it's a mono black deck, but it does historically, bar a few games where I've had rubbish mana draw and what have you, and just had a really bad shuffle, I've had a lot of mana most games, surprisingly, because it's mono black, but I have. Now, I've used this ability with 16 mana attached to the X, and it just kills target player, basically. So this is a really good card. So repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. It's ridiculous. I'll leave you to read it for a moment on the screen and appreciate its ridiculousness. Just imagine if you had 16 mana spare and you just pump all of that mana into this one card. Each opponent as well. So in a commander game, everyone has to do this. Each opponent. So it's game winning. It's crushing. That card is crushing. It really is. Arguel's Bloodfast. A nice little 2-drop that allows you to draw cards if you pay life for it. So it's 1 black and 1 other. And then its ability is 1 black and 1 other. Pay 2 life, draw a card. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 5 or less life, you may transform it into the Temple of Alkalots, which is really good. And this taps to add a black mana, and you can tap it and sacrifice a creature to gain life equal to that sacrificed creature's toughness. So again, if you're really low on life, you can start sacrificing your own demons to gain life back. So again, it's really good late game if you need to get that life back. You don't have to transform it either, which is good. So you can just keep it there as an enchantment that allows you to draw more and more cards if you need. So again, utility, really good. In Garruk's Wake is ridiculous. It costs 9 mana in total. Destroy all creatures and all planeswalkers that you do not control. That is just ridiculous. That can win you the game as well, or it can just sheerly screw over your opponents. Destroy all creatures and all planeswalkers you don't control. So if you've got huge amounts of demons out and the board's looking nasty, you can just crack this and everything goes apart from you, which is absolutely awesome. Really good removal card. Very high mana cost, but again, does jobs if you use it. The card I'm about to go into now is ridiculous. It's my favourite enchantment ever printed, and you will see that in an upcoming podcast that we're going to be releasing soon. My favourite enchantment is this card, and that is Necropotence. And it's just so flavourful with this deck. So it costs 3 swamps to get out, and you skip your draw step. Doesn't matter that we're really skipping our draw step, because we've got so many spells and so many creatures and so many things that allow us to draw cards outside of our draw step, so we don't even really get hindered by that at all. Also, the secondary negative ability on this is whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. Now, I've never ever discarded a card in this deck, because you're not going to have to. Unless someone's playing a discard deck, then that's highly unlikely in my sort of meta, but this is a ridiculous card. It really is. It says, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library face down. Put that card into your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Of your next end step, sorry. So, on turn 3, imagine I just play this, play Necropotence, and I'm going to pay 10 life. And I'm going to put 10 cards into my hand at the end of the turn. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh, yeah. The amount of cards I've drew off this before. I've drew 20 cards off of this before. At 3 mana, draw 20 cards. It's ridiculous. It really is. It allows you to draw your entire deck if you wanted to, if you've got enough life to pay for it, but still, it is such a staple in this particular deck, and it fits in so well with the theme of paying life for card draw. So very good card. highly, highly recommend it. If you're playing any sort of black card draw, get Necropotence. This is a really, really good card, Cryptghast. This doubles the amount of black mana that my swamps produce. So this is a crucial part of my ramp. If he comes out, he unlocks the deck, pretty much, Cryptghast. And you can extort as well. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay white or black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain that much life. So again, he gains you life back for the spells that you have to pay life for. So again, he's really, really good as well, because you can extort with the extra mana that you've got there left over, and he doubles your mana. So again, awesome card, Cryptghast. Another big demon, Nefarox, Overlord of Grixis. He is a 5/5 flying exalted. So whenever a creature you control attacks on its own, that creature gets +1/+1. So that's cool if you're just attacking with one creature. But whenever he attacks alone, defending player has to sack off one of their creatures. So again, that's before he even deals his damage. They have to sacrifice something, which is really, really good. Really, really good card. Big flying demon. That's what this deck's all about. Another source of ramp, Worn Power Stone. So this taps to add 2 to your mana pool. It enters the battlefield tapped, but again, I have to shove a lot of things in here that ramp me, because I don't get much ramp out of this deck. But this is costs 3, enters the battlefield tapped, but then you get 2 off of it the next turn, which is really, really nice. Worn Power Stone. Nightmare Lash in Shiny. I'm not sure if you can see that. This is a 4-drop artifact. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each swamp I control. So I'm playing mono black, so again, this is going to be deadly. And it has no equip cost, except pay 3 life. So you don't have to pay mana to equip it, which is great. You just throw away your life and equip that ridiculous lash to someone to deal some serious damage. Another big demon, Havoc Demon. He's a 5/5 flying, but when he dies, all creatures get -5/-5 until end of turn. So people don't really want to kill him, because they're probably going to kill their own creatures in the process. So again, it's a nice political tool, and something that people don't want to see die, because it probably affects their board as well. So again, it's a nice card for messing with people in that respect. Havoc Demon. Pestilence Demon, another huge demon. That is a 7/6 flying, costs 8 mana, but still is really, really good, because he can tap any amount of swamps to deal that much damage to each creature and each player. So you could literally just pay 5 swamps and deal 5 damage to each creature and each player, or 6 swamps and deal 6 damage to each creature and each player. He will die as a result, but still it's a nice pseudo board wipe and damage dealer as well. So again, Pestilence Demon is very, very good for direct damage, board wipes, smaller creatures, and just draining people of life in general. Pestilence Demon. Reign of the Pit. This is really, really good in a multiplayer game. So each player sacrifices a creature. Okay, that's me included, but oh well. Because I'm going to get something huge back from this. If I sacrifice a 6/6 demon, and then someone else sacrifices a 2/2, and someone sacrifices a 1/1, each player sacrifices a creature, put an XX black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the total power of the creatures sacrificed this way. So if, yeah, I'll let you do the math on that, but seriously, in a 4-player game, I've got huge demons out. It doesn't matter if I sacrifice Nefarox, Overlord of Grixis, he's a 5/5. I'm instantly going to get a 5/5 out of it. But then everyone else's creatures will combine together to form this Reign of Pit that's just coming out of the ground. Ridiculous. Awesome card. A little bit of removal, and you get a creature back off the back of it, which is normally really, really powerful in a multiplayer game. Reaver Demon. A really, really great card, because he's a 6/6 flying demon. When he comes into play, destroy all non-artifact, non-black creatures. So again, he's a body that comes in, doesn't destroy any of my creatures because they're all black, but can destroy everyone else's if they're not black. But again, board wipe, creature, awesome. Liliana's Contract. If I'm running a demon deck, I need to play with Liliana's Contract. This is a win con in this deck, especially with Temporal Extortion, because I can take an extra turn. But normally, if I was going to win, someone would probably half their life total, which again is awesome. This really, really works well with Temporal Extortion. So I'll put them both together there. Basically, I bring this out. If I've got 4 demons out, I'm going to win next turn. So then I play Temporal Extortion. Is anyone going to sacrifice half their life total? They're going to have to, but then I'm going to win next turn if they don't. So it's great. Liliana's Contract basically says, at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, you win. So again, I've won with this a couple of times, actually. So it's awesome card, and it has to be in this deck, because it comes into play as well. I forgot to even mention this. when it comes into play, you draw 4 cards and lose 4 life. So again, it fits into that theme as well of drawing cards. So, staple. Lord of the Void. A 7/7 flying demon, but when he deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of that player's library, then put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield under your control. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Other people's decks are going to have horrible things in them. Horrible creatures that you can just steal with this guy. Lord of the Void. Awesome. 7/7 flying demon also. Damnable Pact. Now this can be great because it's basically a black blaze. So you can pay 2 swamps and X. Target player draws X cards and loses X life. So if someone's on 9 life, you can use this as a kill spell to kill target player. If you haven't got many cards in hand, you can use this to draw loads of cards. It's just awesome. It can kill someone, or it can make you draw extra cards for what your game plan is. So again, very, very good. Double card basically. I like to think of it as a 2 effect card. You can draw loads of cards or do loads of damage to target player. Awesome. Diabolic Tutor. Another tutor card which allows me to search my library for any card I want and put it into my hand, which is great for searching for those other cards I've just explained. Archfiend of Depravity. This is a 5/4 flying demon. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses 2 creatures they control and sacrifices the rest. Obviously apart from me. So this just curbs that board. So if people are running token decks or swarm decks, this card is that player's worst enemy because you have to choose 2 of your creatures on board and then get rid of the rest of them. So again, it's really, really good for keeping those swarm decks under control. That's Archfiend of Depravity. He normally becomes a target of the player that does play that deck though, so he's probably going to die at some point to that. Indulgent Tormentor. Once upon a time, this was my #1 demon. I don't know why. Maybe I was drunk when I made that list, but I just don't know. This is a 5/3 flying demon, and at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card unless target opponent sacrifices a creature or pays 3 life. So it's a political tool in the sense where you could just say, look mate, are you going to allow me to draw a card, or do you want to sacrifice one of your creatures or pay 3 life? Oh, okay, yeah, that's great, I'll just draw a card then. It's a nice little political tool that allows you to keep that card draw going. Great card, Indulgent Tormentor. It's actually my #1. It's currently, if I made another list, it would probably fall down the pecking order now that I've got my hands on a few more demons. But if you check out the link, which I'm going to float around somewhere now, my top 10 demon list is actually my first ever video that we made on Pass the Turn, I think, for Magic the Gathering Mondays. So go and check that out. Maybe that gave that a few more views now that we've got more subscribers and what have you. So next one is Archfiend of Despair. I picked this up for $3.50, and now it's like $17. So I don't know why, but I do know why. It's absolutely awesome. This is a 6/6 flying demon, and attached to it says your opponents cannot gain life. I'm sorry, but you can't gain life at all while this guy's out. But at the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the player life lost this turn. Wow, is this better than I thought it was, or is it still the same? At the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to that. Okay, yeah. Basically, if a player loses life, they lose that life again at the end of the turn, which is ridiculous. Each end step, if you've been dealt damage or lost life in any way, you're going to lose that life again. So I can see why this is really, really overpriced now. Awesome. I'm glad I picked that up while it was still cheap. Also got Thran Dynamo in here, shiny one. So it costs 4 colourless to bring out, and it taps to add 3 colourless to your mana pool. So again, it's definitely needed in this deck because obviously they don't have much access to ramp. Bloodgift Demon. This is a 5/4 flying demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. So again, it's another one of those things that you can target someone to deal damage to them, or you can target yourself to draw an extra card for the start of the turn. Again, it's just really, really, really good. And it's a demon as well, so it contributes to Liliana's contract. Harvester of Souls. He's a 5/5 Death Touch demon. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you draw a card. So again, drawing cards. And he's got Death Touch as well, so he's an instant threat to any creature swinging at you on the ground. So Harvester of Souls. Doom Whisperer. 6/6 Flying Trample demon. with Pay 2 Life, Surveil 2. So again, Surveil is similar to Scry, where you look at the top X cards of your library, depending on what the Surveil value is, and then you choose to reorder those or put them into your graveyard, whatever you choose. Whereas Scry is put them to the bottom of your library, this is put them into your graveyard. So again, it's good for those dredge decks, the Surveil, but I just use it to filter what I'm looking for at the time. So again, 6/6 Demon, Flying Trample for 5 mana is pretty good, and that's why it's a highly costed card. Bloodspeaker, quite a low converted mana cost, but it still would trigger off Belzenlok because he costs 4. But this guy, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice him. If you do, search your library for any demon, and reveal it and put it into your hand, which is great. And whenever you play a demon, if this guy's in your graveyard, return him to your hand. So you can just fetch those demons that you're looking to get for the various effects. So Bloodspeaker is awesome. Shiny Catophorid, Soul Hoarder. This is a 6/6 flying demon. Whenever a permanent owned by another player is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. So again, another creature that draws you cards from death, from things dying. So, and he's a 6/6 flying demon. So again, he fulfills Liliana's contract. Oh, I do have another planeswalker in here, Liliana of the Dark Realms. So she is awesome because she will ramp you. You can just go and fetch swamps with her. You can -X or +X something where X is the number of swamps you control, or you can get an emblem where swamps add 4 swamps to your mana pool for each swamp that's tapped. So again, an awesome ramp card and a removal card at the same time. Yeah, Liliana of Dark Realms, very, very good. Overseer of the Damned, another 5/5 flying demon, but he also has a kill spell attached to it as well. So when he comes in, destroy target creature. And whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, put a 2/2 zombie onto the battlefield tapped. So again, that's just another little bit of value that will spawn creatures as your opponent's creatures die. So again, awesome, and he fulfills Liliana's contract. And the last card in the deck is a Rock Hedron Archive. Costs 4 to bring out and taps to add 2 to your mana pool. And you can pay 2 and tap it to draw 2 cards if you sack it off. So again, fits in with that card draw element as well. So that is all the cards in my Demonlord Belzenlok deck. Now, I think Demonlord Belzenlok is very, very underrated because if he goes off, he goes off. And I'll attach my deck list to the link in the description box below, and you can have a look for yourself and run this on Forge or one of those Magic the Gathering apps where you can test decks out and stuff, or draw sample hands, and you can see how well this deck does actually run despite its very, very high CMC cost. There will be games, of course, when you're completely screwed with what you draw or what lands you don't get and what have you. There's always games in any deck, no matter what you play, where you always get those bad hands. But most of the time, you will destroy people with this deck. It's really, really, really good. But yeah, have a look at the deck list. Throw it into your Forge or Magic the Gathering simulator and have a play with it. It's really, really good. But yeah, I mean, if you've got demon decks or mono black decks, I'd love to hear your comments. So definitely leave a comment in the section below. And what am I missing from this deck? Tell me what am I missing from it. I mean, I'd love to know if you think anything else could, supersede any of these cards in here, or what your thoughts would be if you ran this. Just let me know in the comments below, and I'll have a look into other cards that maybe I haven't discovered yet. But that's been the Demonlord Belzenlok deck tech. This is the first deck tech we've done. So I hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you think I should add or remove any of those things, then by all means leave a comment. I'll be interested to see what your thoughts and opinions are. And then I can run that. I can run that as a test and just see if it does work. Because I'm always looking for improvements to my decks. But again, how it's built right now is pretty damn powerful. So go and test it out as well. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure you tune in next time for more Magic the Gathering content on Mondays. Tabletop Tuesdays, we have board games related stuff and discussion. And then on every other Wednesdays, we have Dungeons and Dragons homebrew campaign content, which has now actually come to an end. So if you've been watching that, that's going to be the last video for a while until we prep the next part of the adventure. We will still try and release Dungeons and Dragons related videos, maybe on different classes or discussions on different things. So make sure you tune into our channel and just see what we plan to do next with that segment. But thank you very much for watching, and like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.